how's the rest of the world using AI?
Right, right.
What is your typical like AI workflow? Are you using like Claude Code? Are you using other tools? Are you using the
Well,
CLI type stuff?
I'm using Cloud Code for coding. I'm one of the contributors of our documentation tooling at work. So I use Cloud Code. It's the best model for coding, really. So, but I just use it for coding. For documentation, I'm using Cursor usually or Copilot. Like maybe 60% of what I do is just autocomplete. I mean, it's that good in the sense of for quick formatting is fantastic. Like, I don't know, like for example, you are editing headings in a long document. With a couple examples, the autocomplete will be able to get what you're trying to do, and then it's just hitting the tab key, and going through the doc to apply all those changes. Other times, I use it, for example, to one of the things I do, like I point it to some changes in the code. It's all open source projects, and I tell it, look, this changed, and we have this README file, and we have this other doc that mentioned these things. So I provide all these sources, and I did this the other day, and I told it, create a document similar to these other document that we have. So I was already pointing at an existing structure, but with these caveats. So I was essentially just instructing it as if I was telling an intern what to do. And it created a very decent draft, based, of course, also, they also had like the agent instructions. So it wasn't starting from scratch. But when it comes to like following like a very structured pattern and you provide it with good source information, context, it does a decent job like 70% of the times. And then you jump in, you edit. I mean, that's the most generative thing I've done. And then, well, I'm experimenting with adding Copilot, again, with agent instructions as a reviewer. But my hope is to leverage MCP server and Veil to do that in a way that is a bit more deterministic.
There was a lot of there's a lot of interest in Gemini CLI because of its ability to plug in more MCP servers.
I guess you cannot tell us when 3.0 is gonna go live, right?
I have no idea. But
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I was really comparing Gemini CLI against like Gemini Code Assist, which is like the side pane. I'm guessing internally it's not called that, so it's like I don't know what the exact differences are externally, but basically the form factor of using a CLI versus using a side pane was interesting to compare. And a lot of people are really on fire with the CLI because they're like, man, I can give it this MCP and it can build my code and I can do this and that. Whereas the side pane seems a little more fixed. But at the same time, the CLI seemed so challenged in terms of presenting a file diff about what it had changed, because you're kind of trapped in the command line area and it's hard to show visually what's changed and give you little buttons to accept or reject. So I actually prefer the side pane because I want to go through and see the changes. I want to highlight the changes and be like, well, why did you change that? Persuade me on this, or tell me, why did you delete this block? And have a conversation.
For docs for sure. I mean, it's the same for me. Like the CLI is great for code because it's better at calling tools, for example. Like if you're developing a Node application, it's just way more efficient. For some reason, it's more efficient at calling npm or whatever. But for docs, I really want to see the docs changing in real time while it does the thing.